You create a mental construct. Now, I'm going to give you one little caveat when you're dealing with trance states. You must connect a person's internal imagery with their physical sensations in their body. So let me use Christine for this. Christina. You must connect their mental imagery with their physical sensations. Otherwise, you do not get the same level of change as quickly. So come over here. Now face forward. Okay. Okay. Now, is there something that maybe it's been bothering you, or something that you do that you want to do better, or some kind of change that you would like to have?
I have a lot of stuff going on right now, and sometimes I get unfocused and don't get anything done.
Okay. So you would like to be
more focused.
More focused. Was there a time in your life when you were absolutely laser focused, when you could just lock it in, get it done? There's with the crunching again.
Yes.
Okay, close your eyes. As you close your eyes, I want you to go back to that time when you experienced that absolute focus. That's right. Take a deep breath in, breathe into it. See what you saw, hear what you heard, feel what you felt. Now what I want you to do is, as you see yourself and feel yourself from that place, what I want you to do is, if there was a place out in space in front of you where you could reach out and touch that image, reach out and touch it. Good. As you reach out and touch it, I want you to notice, as you touch it here, where do you feel it in your body physically? Point to where you feel it.
Here.
Good. As you connect these two, I want you to notice, as you look in here now, just touch this area, look in there with your inner eyes, notice that there's a color associated with that feeling. What's the color, first impression?
Gold.
Good. Now, I want you to notice on a scale of 0 to 10, how strong is it? 10 being the most powerful it can be.
8.
Good. I want you to notice, I want you to take both your hands, reach inside, pull all of that gold energy out and hold it in your hands. Look at it with your inner eyes. Now, did the color change or stay the same?
It stayed the same.
Good. I want you to notice that as you hold it, it's moving or spinning in a certain direction. What direction is it spinning?
This way.
Good. What I want you to do is I want you to take that in both of your hands, and I want you to double the spin. Double it again. Keep doubling it until it becomes unstoppable and impossible to be anything else. And when you know you've got it, take it with both your hands and slam it back into that state. Whoosh! Notice how it comes back, and try to be any other way. Notice you can't.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How focused are you?
Pretty focused right now. Otherwise we're all like,
Yeah, right? So what did we do here? For every state, process, or experience, was it a good experience, by the way, when you focused?
Yeah, I was just like, focused.
You're having good.
Yeah.
Good. Stay focused now. Right. What did we do here? Every state, process, or experience that you have has a cognitive component, a limbic component, a reptilian component, and a somatic component. And it's stored holographically in your proprioceptive field. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, you could say the aura. But for those of you who are more scientifically based, I call it the proprioceptive grid. Your nervous system has a way of knowing where things are in space around the body. And it's holographic. And so at certain locations, your body stores and projects certain types of information. NLP will teach you this. Many variants of it will teach you this. And so I can manipulate how you experience or process that event by changing its location in space. But that's not good enough many times, because most of these imageries do not always address the feelings. What we must do is we must use this mechanism of cataloging and directly connect it to where the location proprioceptively and kinesthetically in the body it's located. Once we make this connection, we have external channels of awareness and focus and internal channels of awareness and focus all corresponding and coalescing on the same point. All of your channels are absorbed. So what I do now is, once I find that location, now I manipulate the construct or the energy of it. And as I change the construct, I change the somatic experience. As I change the somatic experience, all the perceptual filters and the way the body has coded that experience change. Okay? But really all you need to do Reach out and touch it. Notice where you feel it. Look at where you feel it. Notice there's a color. If you notice there's a color, take it out and look at it. As you look at it, notice how it's moving. What direction is it moving? If it's something you want more of, amplify the intensity and amplitude of the direction. If it's something you want less of, make it the opposite of what it was. And amplify this. And amplify the speed. When you know you've got it, when you know it's unstoppable, take it in both of your hands, slam it back in, whoosh, notice the change.
So if you have something good, you can, because I think when we practiced it before, we kind of looked at something that may have been an issue, but we can take something positive.
Yes.
And
do exactly the same thing.
but we wouldn't spin in the opposite
No,
direction.
if it's going, see, your nervous system has a direction that it uses to code an experience, to code a sensation. That direction has nothing to do with the story and everything to do with the structure. It's the structure of the event that your autonomic nervous system understands. That's the language it speaks. We covered this in depth in vibrational influence when we were doing remote influencing. It's the structure of the story, not the content of the story, that creates the effect at the neurological level.
So it's like a CD. It's not the information burnt on it, it's the CD's going in a specific direction. So
That's
to be read, it has to go that
That's
direction.
the language that the autonomic system understands. Okay? And however you imagine it, notice when I say imagery, I do not just mean visualizations. Imagery can be a feeling, it can be a sound, it can be anything you can imagine. Many of you do not consciously see pictures when you imagine things. But if I asked you to imagine your bedroom at home, you could tell me exactly where everything was. Even though you might not be consciously seeing a picture. You know there's a part of you that knows where everything is. That's also imagery. So don't be fooled or don't be misled by the term image. Okay? Yes.
Can you explain about the spinning one way versus the other way?
What specifically would you like me to explain?
Well, when you're pulling out, it's spinning one way.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're doing to it, making it spin faster.
Come on up here. Sometimes the best explanation is a demonstration. Come on. You got something you want to change? Something you want to do better?
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay. You feel comfortable? I don't have to know what it is, by the way. Notice when I had her up here, she said it was focused, but I don't need to actually know what it is, which preserves anonymity, depending on the issue. Many times, it's a big deal. Okay? There's something you want to do better? Or worse? Or get rid of? Or what?
Something I want to do better, yeah.
Okay. Do you feel comfortable sharing it? Or does it matter? It doesn't matter. Here's what I want you to do. Close your eyes. I want you to reach, if you could see that thing you really want to do better, I want you to reach out and touch it, where you're actually doing it really, really well. As you reach out and touch it, notice where in your body you feel it and point to it. Point to it physically. Okay, good. That's fine. As you look at it, you can put this down. As you look at this spot with your inner eyes now, I want you to notice that there's a feeling or a color associated with that feeling. What's the color, first impression?
White.
Good. On a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the best it could be and 0 being not so much, rate the intensity of that feeling.
About a 4.
Good. I want you to reach in with both of your hands and pull all of that white energy out and hold it in your hands and look at it with your inner eyes. Make sure it's all in your hands. Good. Now I want you to notice as you look at that white energy, I want you to notice it's moving, possibly spinning in a certain direction. What's the direction?
Counterclockwise.
First. Okay, good. What I want you to do now, if it's something you know you want to do this better, I want you to take it in both of your hands, get a grip, a good strong grip on it, and double the spin and notice what happens to the feeling. And then double it again. And then double it again. And keep doubling it until it's 10 times better than anything you could have possibly imagined. And when you know you've got it, when you know it's a foregone conclusion, it's already happened, slam it back in and notice the change. Whoosh. Notice the change. Okay. You're still processing.
Now what would happen if we spun it the opposite way?
What's the opposite of what you're feeling? That's what you'd get.
Okay.
Okay? The secret to this is whatever construct your autonomic nervous system creates to represent the experience is fundamentally constructed from the coding system it uses. You don't have to know your whole coding system. All you've got to do is pay attention to the elements of how it's built. If I know that movement in a certain direction is creating one kind of an effect, then the intuitive thing is anything opposite has to be the opposite, right? Which is usually, if it's a bad thing, if I turn it the opposite of what it was, I have the antithesis, which means I have release. Now, sometimes you get people, you'll try to say, oh, it's spinning. They'll say, well, it's not spinning, it's moving. It's not moving. So we'll notice the color. And you start manipulating the color. Notice what happens when you change the color. Change the color so that it's the opposite of what it was. And let them continue to play with the color until it's the opposite of what it was. When you know you've got it, when you know it's exactly how and what you want it to be, double the intensity. Double it again. Keep doubling it until you know it's unstoppable, until you know you've got it. When you know you've got it, slam it back in and notice the change. Okay? The secret to this is you must get the proprioceptive projection linked with the somatic experience, the somatic address in the body. The minute you have those linked and you start manipulating the construct, it's not really a construct, it can be an actual energetic phenomena, depending on how energy oriented you are. You can be the actual energy of the event. If you're not into energy, if you're more nuts and bolts, real world stuff, it's an energetic construct. Okay? There are subtle differences in the experience depending on which belief system you embrace, but fundamentally the process is exactly the same. When you know you've got it, and you'll feel changes in sensation when you do this. It's very, very powerful, and it's very, very quick. Okay, and I've taken away migraines instantly. I've taken away back pain. I've taken away fear. You name it, I can do it. I can put in whatever I want too. Okay, so this is a real good, and you can do it anywhere.